Folks, I am Saurav Adhikari and welcome to Mediocre Cook. Today we'll make the French quintessential bread, the baguette. Baguette is sold almost everywhere in France, just costing €1. A staple bread, a staple French bread. So you can use a baguette to slice it up just with butter, or make a sandwich, or use in French onion soup. The options are endless. So why wait? Let's check out the ingredients. This recipe will make about 2 baguettes. So for this recipe we'll need 300 grams of white bread flour, about 6 to 10 grams of salt. Water is about 240 milliliters, and this is a 80% hydration dough. And then yeast about 6 to 7 grams. So let's start by making a poolish, which is essentially a mixture of bread flour and water equal portion and 3 grams of yeast. So to make poolish, I've taken a bowl. So to make poolish in a bowl, I'm adding about 100 milliliters of lukewarm water. There you go. And then to this, I'll add about 100 grams of bread flour. There you go. And then 3 grams of yeast. So I'm using active dry yeast. Now I'll combine this to make a very wet paste. I'll make sure that there are no white portions or white dough lumps in this. So this is very wet piece of dough. So now I'll keep this outside for about 15 minutes, and then I'll put this in the refrigerator for further fermentation. And I'll start making the dough for baguette tomorrow after 24 hours of ferment. So it's been about 24 hours, and as you can see, the dough is ready and it has nice fermentation. It comes with the holes, as you can see. I'll keep it aside and start the process of making the main dough. So first I'll add about 200 grams of white bread flour. Now I'm adding lukewarm water. I'll add about 140 grams. And next I'll add about 3 grams of yeast. And I'm using active dry yeast. And finally I'll add 6 grams of salt. Now I'll give this a quick mix, and this will be very shaggy and loose, as you can see. And now I'll add all the yeast into it, or all the poolish. And as you can see, it has fermented quite a bit. Now I'll mix everything properly, and now I'll wet my hands and start working the dough with my hands. So this is a very sticky dough. Make sure to wet your hands when you're working with this dough. Now I'll cover it and store it for 30 minutes at room temperature for it to auto-lease, and then we'll start doing the folds. So it's been about 30 minutes, and we'll do the first fold now, and we'll do 3 folds in 30 minutes intervals. And before you do the folds, just wet your hands a bit because the dough is very sticky. And then I'll just go in, pull it, turn, go in deep inside, pull it, turn, go in from here, pull it, turn, and go in from here, pull it and turn on itself. So this is first fold. I can do this one more time and I'll use both hands this time. So I'll pull it, turn on itself, pull it, turn on itself, pull this, turn on itself, and the final one, pull it and turn on itself. So now I'll cover this and keep it for 30 minutes covered, and we'll do the second fold. So it's been 30 minutes, so we'll do the second fold. I'll just wet my hands. Now I'll cover this and keep it for 30 minutes, and then we'll do the final fold. It has been 30 minutes, so we'll do the third fold. And I'll keep this here for 1 hour for it to bulk ferment. So now it has been an hour, and I've preheated the oven to 485 Fahrenheit. And I'll just dust the surface a bit. I'll show you the dough as well. So this is the dough, very well fermented. Now I'll dust the dough a bit because it is still very sticky, and we'll do some pre-shaping of the dough. I'll take my trusted bench scrape and I'll just swiftly release the dough from the sides, and I'll put my dough right here, and the dough will slowly release the bowl completely. Now I'll dust the dough a bit. I'll take my big scraper. I'll roughly cut this into half. Now for each of these sides, we'll just pre-shape it. So to pre-shape, I'll just take it aside. What we'll do is I'll take a bit more flour. I'll just drop some flour here. So to pre-shape, I'll just make it a square. Fold it from the sides to the middle like this. Same for this. Stick it, and then I'll just roll it softly so that all the bubbles stay inside, and this is a pre-shaped dough. I'll take a bit of flour in here, and with my bench scraper pick it up and place it on the flour, and then I'll cover these with a cloth so that they don't dry out, and I'll rest it on the bench for about 15 minutes. So it's been 15 minutes and the doughs have rested, so I'll give final shape to the dough. So I'll take this dough out a bit, and keep it here. And for this dough, we'll just flatten it a bit. Make sure that the gases don't go out. Now we'll make a fold. So what we'll do is we'll do a letter fold. So I'll keep it like this, stretch it and bring towards the center, paste it a bit. Now take this and try to come towards the center, and I'll pinch it a bit so that the dough holds. Perfect. Flour the heels of my palm and take this, and I'm just closing the seam. And then I'll roll it. Just add some flour so that things don't stick. And now we'll start rolling. I'll just add a bit more flour because the dough is sticking right here. And now we'll do a motion like this and we'll roll it to the amount of length we want. So now this is good. So now I'll just try to elongate it with pressure right here. We don't put pressure here. Perfect. So the dough is ready. Now we'll put it on a baking tray. So I have the baking tray right here. I'll flour the tray a bit. And I'll gently lift it and place it on the tray. I'll do the same thing for the I'll take the baking pan and put it here for proofing. So I'll cover this. I'll put some dough on the top. Just dust it lightly on the top. And I'll put the towel on the top and let this proof for about 45 minutes. So it's been about 35 minutes. And you see the dough is properly proofed. And I'll show you how to know that the dough is proofed. I'll take my finger and press the dough a bit. And the dough will gradually lift up, but there will be a small dent remaining. So I'll do that again. So the dough is gradually lifting. That means it is proofed well. So I'll now score. So I'm using a lame to score. You can just use a blade to score as well. Be confident while scoring because the dough will sense your fear. So I'll hold it here and I'll make 4 scores. And same for here. And this should be very quick. Perfect. Now these are ready to bake. So I'll split this parchment paper in the middle. And I have a preheated oven with moisture. That means I have put a bowl with water inside. I'll bake this on my baking stone for 20 minutes at 485 Fahrenheit. So the baguettes are ready. I'll take those out and show you the crumb. So the baguettes are ready. It took about 22 minutes for this to break. The tears would be more aggressive if I were to underproof this a bit more. So I'll let this cool off in this wire rack and then I'll show you the crumb of this bread. So the bread has been cooling down for about 15 minutes and it is cooled down. So I'll take it from the wire rack. So there are a couple of ways in which you can know that the bread will have good crumb. The first way is the light test. So in the light test, I've turned out all the lights. I just have my hiking light. And I'll take the bread and put the light. What you can see is all the crumbs will start appearing. That means this has a fantastic crumb because there are so many air bubbles inside it. I'll also show you that for the other one. This is a thicker bread, but there is still a lot of nice crumb. So this is one way to know how the crumb of the bread is. Now the other way to know that the baguette is ready is to hear for crisps. And this is the sound it should make. This is nice and crispy crust on the top. So I'll cut open like this. And this is the crumb of the bread. Nice big holes in the center. So this was the recipe for the quintessential French baguette. You see, the ears have come out so well. The color is nice and brown. This is how a baguette should look. Do try out my recipe and let me know how it turned out for you in the comment section. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.